Today we're delving into chess improvement in the abstract, that is the positional part of the game. Something where point values don't matter, but structure, rotations, outposts do. I picked out 3 positions that we're going to discuss how the club level player would think about this position versus how the greats who played this game thought about the position. All are unique in their own way, all are very different, and I think there is something to be gained from each and every single one of these. So, good luck on the 3 puzzles. Puzzle number 1 is Tigran Petrosian with the white pieces versus Wolfgang Unziker with the black pieces. I botched the pronunciation of that, so educate me in the comments. You know how that's pronounced. White to move, what would you play? We're going to pick out a few moves that I think club level players would play, which are all going to be good. But wait till you appreciate what Petrosian did. So, the moves that come to mind, if you're positionally oriented, is knight to c5. If you're tactically oriented, it's pawn to e4. What I would do is pawn to h4, and all are very good moves. So, let's begin with tactically gifted people, that is pawn to e4. You might be like, I'm a genius, they take, I win. But see, that's thinking of it as caveman chess. These guys were artists, and this is chess in the abstract. If they're a caveman, they might take and lose the game. Rook takes bishop, rook takes rook, queen check, fork, winning material. But what if they're educated? What if your opponent is a scholar? You might be like, oh, I thought about it. If he goes back, I'm going to gain space, and I made an improvement. My pawn went from e3 to e5. That is an improvement. I've gained space. Seriously, this is educational thoughts. But what if they played rook b7? Did you consider that? You might be like, oh, I just won a pawn. It's not so simple. You got to dig deeper, delve further into the position, especially in training. And guys, if you're reading a positional book, time yourself for 7 minutes, and whatever you get in 7 minutes, go over the answer. Because time is of the essence, right? You're not going to have all the time in the world. So give yourself 7 minutes. You will improve getting through that whole book and getting 80% of it wrong than thinking an hour for a position, getting discouraged because you got it wrong that way. So time yourself. But okay, rook to b7, you pick up a pawn, then you had to calculate queen takes or rook a7, both of which give black some compensation. Now this knight is tied down. You have a battery on the a file. Black at least has something to play for. He has gained life in the position. Talk about life in the position. Black is essentially in Zook's one. Did you notice that? The bishop cannot improve due to the nature of the dark squared color complex. The rook is tied down to that bishop, and their battery is tied down to the base of the pawn chain over here on the queen side. Petrosian took that, processed it, and came up with a beautiful plan. So his plan was h4, but he doesn't play it right away. He plays king f1 and tenfolds the strength of the idea h4. You might be like, what do you mean? King f1 is ridiculous. It's not a move, it's an idea. So the move order doesn't matter, but look at this. What is he planning? This guy is taking the Hajj over to the queen side. And I saw 2 games in the FIDE World Cup where this motif was used. And this is something you don't think of unless you're either one of the greatest to ever play. Seriously, if you thought of this, can you be my chess coach? But to spend 5 moves understanding black cannot improve, and then go for the g4 break, queen e2, g4. Picture the position with the king on b1 versus g1. It's so much better with the king on the queen side. Now, any normal person is playing g4, and it is the best move. But you know that quote Fischer had where Petrosian, their opponent falls asleep at the wheel? He kind of just sees the plan 20 moves before his opponent. That was a paraphrase. I know. Wasn't the exact quote, but pawn to g4. He does it at the best possible moment. And we're just going to scan through the rest of the game. I mean, again, imagine the king on g1 versus a2. The attack would not be as vicious as the attack is. I'm not a fan of this guy, but I am a fan of this game. I like more Tal playstyle, Fischer, things of that nature. But This is art. This is really beautiful. This. And his opponent resigns. Which brings us to position number 2. Hikaru Nakamura versus Vladimir Kramnik. This game was played in 2012. Kramnik sacked the exchange. Hikaru plays an inaccuracy with his flank pawn, but Kramnik messes up. What would you play in this position? Ironically, I think Kramnik might have done what a club player does. So, what you should do in this position is kind of go all in. Take the pawn on c3, improve your pieces, and hope for compensation. But when people are dealt a flank pawn push, by the way, Hikaru and Kramnik don't like each other, but to be fair, I don't like either of them. So, to each their own, there is that. But typically, the worst thing you could do to a flank pawn push is respond to it. You kind of just need to absorb it, you know? Just be like a brick wall. If you respond to it, I mean, taking is out of this world. That's what a 300 would do. Hopefully not a club level player, but a club level player, I think, would push the pawn. This would be perfect if you had 2 moves in a row, which you don't. Let's say we waste a move. Black goes h6, and he's just about equalized. He's going to take. He's going to go knight c4. He has prospects. He has good attacking prospects. He has a bishop pair, where if the center opens, it's a 3-game result. 3-result game. I think I worded that properly. So find the move here for white. By the way, I think 3 days we've been out of uploading. I can explain. I'm going back to Serbia soon. Big hype about that, so I'm planning that out. I just got my citizenship, which I'm very happy about. I know people in the US don't agree with dual citizenship, but I'm still happy about it. So we have been planning that out. I also fell into a little bit of a rabbit hole on the collapse of Yugoslavia recently. Been watching documentaries, now taking out books. What a crazy time. Very heartbreaking to see everything that happened. You know? Slavs be Slavin. I know. But the West be Weston. Also true. The rogue be Rogan. And yeah. But also, that brings me to my next point. I'm going to post the link to my other YouTube in the description. So give that a follow. It's going to be a podcast channel. I'm going to go to Serbia, set up a nice office, make it a podcast on anything and everything I want to have an opinion about. Right? I love making chess videos, and I'm going to continue to do that. But we're also going to branch out because there is much more to my life and passions that I have than just chess. And the drama in the chess world does not intrigue me at all. I mean, the chess world is composed of dudes who piss sitting down, who probably don't have girlfriends, and if they do have girlfriends, those girlfriends have other boyfriends. Cucks, the word I'm looking for. So I'm just not such a fan, so I'm going to make a separate channel. I will make these educational videos, but chess drama does not intrigue me. Most people have the attention span of a goldfish. I know many of you guys don't. You guys are beasts, though. And if you like my opinions or would like to see the life of Yugo Nomadic, been a vagabond my whole life, nomad, follow the channel. Back to chess, the game that I love. I love chess. I just don't love the drama I see in the chess community because it is irrelevant to me. But pawn to h6, beautiful. You see, because if you wasted a move, they'd go h6 and equalize. So you play the move pawn to h6. They have to take. If they don't take, it is a clearance sacrifice. My favorite sacrifice in chess. See, the difference between this position and the last position is black is far from Inzuk's one. He's going to clamp and then improve. So you don't have all the time in the world to bring your king all the way over, nor would you want to. So you do this. Queen h5. What do they play? Well, if they play king to g7, they lose the game because of genius. Knight to g4, their bishop is trapped. They're getting checkmated. So they have to go bishop to g7. You pick up a pawn, pinning the bishop, gaining a tempo on the rook. The guy who sacked the exchange is going backwards. That's not something they want to do. Not only that, You don't want to trade when you're down material. You want to keep it complex, but he can't because white's queen and knight, they make the best checkmating patterns. They're too powerful. So you had to trade into an endgame where he's clearly losing, and Nakamura wiped him off the board effortlessly. Which brings us to our last position. What would a club player do here? I think a club player would be like, I'm good at chess, you know? I see GMs go king b1 when they castle queenside. Maybe I'll improve my worst place piece. These two moves would equalize the game. Your opponent would castle, nearly catching up in development. He has the bishop pair. You let go of your advantage. What is your advantage? Well, it is the fact that black is in a state of paralysis if you're active. His king has not yet castled. That is the focal point. Don't you wish this rook had the open file? On c5, a clearance. This is like the game I had against the GM where we just wiped him off the board by blowing open the center. Same exact concept. Clearance sacrifices are my favorite in chess due to the positional nature of them. It's kind of mixing tactical thought with positional thought. From clearance sacrifices, your position improves. Tactics stem from good positional chess. They have two options, take with the bishop or take with the pawn. They take with the bishop. You isolate their pawn, get rid of their bishop pair, and then you take and they are not castling. They might try to kick your bishop out, but they're not castling. You maintain the pressure. You slide your other rook over now, and they got problems. That isolated pawn is going to fall in no time. What if they take with the pawn? It's actually even worse. You blockade the newly isolated pawn. You might be like, then they can castle. Well, they can, legally, but they lose. You correct your move order, and you're going to win a pawn. You're attacking b7, e6. You're going to win the pawn on e5. Your rook will slide in. Effortless win with the white pieces. Now you might be like, what if they try to maintain the bishop pair? Well, again, they can't castle. You're going to take 2 knights, 3 bishops, and a king on the e-file. We know how that one ends. And not to mention you're gaining a tempo on the pawn. If they try to save the pawn, you still jump over to c5. Again, they are not castling. And you're going to effortlessly win this game. So I hope these positional puzzles helped you guys. Thank you as always for watching. This is not the chess improvement video. It is a chess improvement video, but not the one club level versus master differential. But I thought this is a nice warm up to it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace.